This represents the latest edition of the Ford GT. And if you look at the car, what you don't realize, the body, the chassis, even the wheels are carbon fiber, which keeps the car very strong but also very light. Notice the color of the car and the lines, how it accentuates all of the aerodynamic qualities that the car has. It's very purposeful. Even the shape of the windshield, as well as the
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not seen a brand new Ford GT, please make your way in front to it. It's pretty darn cool.
So there it is. We're going to interview Peter Brock, as he knows probably as much as anybody does about this new model. Peter, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you again. Tell us just a little bit about this car and how it ended up here today.
Well, it's taken me 3 years to get it. There are not very many of them made, as you know. So you have to apply for it with Ford, and if they feel that you can get them enough publicity for the car and show it to them, they'll award you the thing on it. So it's taken 3 years to get it.
So you have to be a steward of Ford public relations
Yes.
to really deserve the car and do justice by the car by
And
getting
to be a
its
Ford
uniqueness.
guy, to have a record with Ford with some, cars before, or some recognition of things you've done. And of course, that, for the design work I did on the original Daytona, that was
Right.
the thing that got me
Right.
in on it. So
Which, of course, there's a kind of a replica of that standing here in terms of shape.
absolutely, yeah.
However,
Absolutely.
it's uniquely powered,
Yeah.
which we will get into another interview with that.
yeah.
But this car that you designed was in what, 1960?
Late 1963, and they ran in 64 and 65 for the World Championship, and we beat Ferrari and Aston Martin and Jaguar, and of course Ford at that time, because we were actually racing against the Ford GT40s. So
Right.
that was the
That was
amazing
their
thing.
first 1 or 2 years of being in
Right.
the.
They were done at the same time as the Daytona.
Right.
And actually, that was that competition against Ford is what actually gave Ford the decision to give the contract for the GT40s to run them from 65 onward, gave it to Shelby. So the Daytonas was sort of a stepping stone into the GT40 program.
And the important thing to remember about the Daytona, it was a front mid-engine configuration, whereas this car represented the first generation
Absolutely.
of the
Mid-engine.
mid-engine, but rear
Right.
configuration behind the
Right.
driver, which was a big stepping stone.
And this car is so sophisticated now compared to even that car. It's just an amazing automobile. I haven't had much time to drive it.
Right.
But it's absolutely glassy smooth and super fast and very comfortable and quiet. It's an amazing automobile.
I can only imagine the first generation GT40 compared to this, the new Ford GT, has to be like day and night.
Yep, it is.
Right.
That car, they learned so much off it that went into the development of this car to make this. I mean, this is really a 200 mile an hour car that you can go to the market with if you like.
Right.
It's not at all temperamental. It's just a beautifully engineered car that is so nice to drive. Just absolutely beautiful.
So it sounds like this car is even more tractable and more user-friendly than the the early 2000 series that they came out with.
Yep, getting better all the time. The thing I like about it is that particular car had the A-pillar in your way, so when
Right.
you went into a corner, you couldn't see the apex really well. The vision on this one is much, much better.
Good.
So
good.
I
It
think
looks
the
very
driver
svelte.
economics
It looks
is
very
beautiful.
narrow
Yep,
compared to
yep.
the A-pillar
So-
on the
And you see through this part of the window a lot better. So I see from the driver's standpoint, this car is much, much nicer to drive.
nice sight lines, right?
Yep,
And of course
yep.
the mirrors are up high in aerodynamics, but you can
see
still
so
see.
well. Most of the problem with mid-engine cars, you can't see behind you.
Right.
With this car, it's very good. I've got good vision out the rear and through both sides, so it's very, very good. Yeah.
Very good.
Now this is a super lightweight version of it.
Right.
Even the wheels are carbon fiber on it, as you can
right,
see.
right.
So everything on the car is designed for the lightweight. They don't even have cup holders in it at all.
Well, I guess you probably don't need cup holders. You do have a stereo, I hear, right?
Yeah, it's got that in it. Yeah.
Does it have onboard nav? So if you wanted to go
Yep.
somewhere, you just punch it in and you go?
Right. It's
And
got
then
all,
hands-free phone if you needed it.
Yep.
I don't know who would call you.
all
if
the
you're in
good
this.
stuff on it. Yeah.
I'd probably be ignoring all the phone calls.
Yeah.
But I really thank you and appreciate
All right,
your giving us a
great.
cook's tour. As always, Peter Brock,
Okay,
it's fun.
good.
Thank you.
Take care.
This is John from Headlights and Tailpipes signing off. And we'll be with you in another interview real soon.